connect, but don't attach. Some of you needed to hear that a lot more than move on. People love to tell us to move on, right? Or let it go. Maybe need to hear that more than another surface level quote pretending that grief, love, and human connection are simple. They're not. Humans are complicated. Life can be complicated. A lot of people right now are suffering because they were taught that attachment and connection are the same thing, or that they're the same thing as love. And they're not. Because attachment tells us stay, don't change, don't leave, don't grow, don't become someone I no longer recognize. But connection, that says I honor what we shared even if life changes form. And that's a completely different energy. Welcome back, loves, and if you're new, welcome to our sanctuary. As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and always use your own discernment. Remember, you are your best guide. I think one of the hardest truths to accept as humans is that nothing in this physical world is permanent. My Nana used to tell me the hardest thing about being a woman, and you could say that for anyone, about being a human, right? Is learning when to let go. And she was right. And I'm not just talking about relationships, but, identities, seasons of life, homes, careers, cars, our bodies, even the people and animals that we love the most, right? And for some people, that truth creates fear, so they grip tighter. They cling, control, obsess, or avoid connecting to anyone at all. Or maybe spend their entire lives trying to preserve moments that were never meant to stay frozen. But life is movement. Nature itself teaches us this constantly. The tides move, the moon changes, trees lose their leaves, the sun rises and sets. Even we are constantly shedding versions of ourselves. So why do we expect human experiences to remain untouched forever? And I'm going to link another video where I talked a little bit about this as well. So it doesn't mean that the love isn't real. It doesn't mean connection isn't sacred. It doesn't mean loss doesn't hurt. All of those things are true in our human experience. It means impermanence is part of the human experience. And honestly, I think some of the deepest suffering comes from trying to fight that truth instead of learning how to move with it. Because again, attachment tells us if this changes, I'm going to fall apart. But connection tells us, even if this changes, what was real still mattered. And that's powerful. So some people think healing means becoming detached from everything. Maybe cold or unfeeling or untouchable. But I don't think that's the lesson at all. I think the lesson is learning how to love deeply without trying to possess, to appreciate without trying to imprison or control, to experience without demanding permanence, to understand that endings do not erase meaning. Some relationships, whether they be romantic or otherwise, are not meant to last forever, and some are. Some are meant to teach you something. Some arrive to wake you up or to break you open. Some are mirrors. Some are blessings. And some are really painful redirections. But just because something changed form does not mean that it was meaningless. And this applies to everything. Friendships that faded, people you outgrew, versions of yourself that you had to release, loved ones who have crossed over, children growing up, relationships ending, and even dreams that change over time. Connection can still exist without physical closeness. That's something Spirit has shown me again and again in my life. Love does not disappear simply because form changes. Energy changes form constantly. And I think many people are terrified of connecting because they fear loss so deeply. But avoiding connection is its own kind of loss, isn't it? You cannot fully live while trying to protect yourself from every possible ending. That's not living. That's emotional survival mode. I remember at one point I had a dog that had passed away, and it was a really tough situation, passing, and just really sad. And it took me a while to kind of work through that. I won't say get over it, because even to this day, it makes me sad when I think about it. But I didn't stay stuck in that. And that's the difference. Because for a little while I thought, oh, I never want to get another dog. And that's not the solution, right? Now, if you make that decision consciously and you've, moved through it, fine, no judgment. But for me, that was just me speaking out of the fear of going through that loss again, that pain again. And so eventually, I worked through it, and I was able to have more pets, and and get another dog. And I did take some time without having them to kind of work through it all, of course. But that's just one example. And survival mode convinces people that if they love less, then they'll hurt less. But what usually happens is they just experience less intimacy, less joy, less vulnerability, less depth, less life. And yeah, grief hurts, loss hurts, change can hurt, but connection is still worth it every single time. Because some souls touch your life for a moment and change you forever, right? Maybe that was the purpose. Not ownership, not permanence, but connection. So maybe the lesson is not how do I stop caring so I never get hurt again, but how do I love fully while understanding that nothing here is meant to stay exactly the same forever? And that's a very different question, isn't it? Connect, don't attach. There is so much wisdom in those 3 words. If this message resonated with you, feel free to like, subscribe, or support the sanctuary in whatever way feels aligned for you. Even simply being here really means the world to me more than you know. Sending you light, love, and healing, and I hope this helped.